we're asking for. And let me go to Ed, who's got a great point in upstate New York. Ed, go ahead. You're on the Glenn Beck program.
Glenn, I just wanted to let Barack and his comrades know that half of all small businesses, new businesses in the United States, fail in the first year, and they all have roads out in front of their establishments.
It's true.
It's rock solid. And I mean, you listen to this guy talk, and he outlines every leftist, every progressive in their philosophy in one sentence.
Marxist.
Well, yeah, every Marxist, which is the only thing that separates us from Uganda is our government. If that is not, I mean, that's what every one of these politicians will never say, but that's what they all believe.
Isn't Uganda Marxist?
No. I don't know. I don't know. It's because then there's not that much of a separation. But I would say that Uganda, they say because the government's there and our government has been stable for a long time and our government does all these wonderful things for us, that's the separation. There's no difference in the way we were formed, the way our philosophy has been about the people here. It's just the fact that Uganda and us would be exactly the same under the same circumstances, and that's American exceptionalism.
First of all, those governments do more for their citizens than ours does.
Yeah.
They do more. They take care of more things.
Everything.
North Korea does a lot more for their citizens than we do. What kind of shape are they in? They're starving to death there. It doesn't work. The system they want doesn't work, but they found a really unique way to try to present it to the American people.
But here's the great thing is you can't succeed unless you have roads. Mm-hmm. First of all, I challenge you. If there's a state, I'll build a whole town, and people will flock to the town. If there's a state within the sound of my voice, North Carolina, Texas, South Carolina, if you're a state that says, you know what, we'll let the entrepreneurial spirit alone, we'll protect it, and we'll build a town, I'll build a town. I got it on my drawing board. I got it all mapped out. We'll build a town. We'll build our own roads. You leave us alone. And we'll build and we'll thrive. Here's the amazing thing. You can't be successful. Henry Ford didn't do anything. Henry Ford only could do the automobile and only did the assembly line because of roads. Okay? 50% of businesses fail. So what about the roads in front of those guys? Well, then they changed the argument. If you're successful, you use the roads more often. Well, wait. You just changed the whole argument.
And
you said you're only successful because of the roads. Mm-hmm. I tell you that's ridiculous because over 50% of all small businesses fail. They've got the same road in front of the successful business as the business that failed, the same road. So you're telling me that's the argument. And immediately when you say that, they change the argument and say, that's why you have to pay more because now you're a successful business and you use the roads more than the guy who failed. That's a completely different argument. And it doesn't make any sense either. Of course I use the road more often than the guy who didn't use the road. He can't afford his car anymore. Of course I use the road more often. And you know what? The guy who has just failed and is in bankruptcy is no longer paying taxes to repair those roads. As I get richer, I pay more taxes because in a flat tax scenario, I pay more taxes to fix and build new roads that other people can succeed or fail by. It's ridiculous.
It's so stupid. A couple questions. Number one, how does an island succeed? There's no roads going to Hawaii. How does Hawaii thrive? How do people get there somehow on private airlines? Somehow they go out there and spend their money.
Private airlines are sitting at a government. They're using the government infrastructure. They're using the government air traffic control system.
There's plenty of private airports in this country.
Never heard of them.
And then there's also boats, and there's also other ways that people got...
The boats are protected by the Navy. The seas are only safe because the Navy is there.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say you don't have, obviously, a government. I agree with national defense. I know no one's arguing that. And secondly, think about like the most desolate place in our country. or, they're a desolate place, someplace, in a state where there's nothing for 100 miles around it. There's usually a road going through it, and yet business doesn't pop up there. Why? There's a road there. Why don't just the only time that huge cities spring up out of the desert is when the government removes restrictions like Las Vegas. Then all of a sudden they start popping up.
I make this offer. I make the same offer today. I wasn't planning on doing this today. I'm going to make this offer. I make the same offer that Walt Disney made to California and to Florida in the 50s and again in the 60s. Any state that wants to be put on the map, that wants to have entrepreneurs flock to it, any state that fits a certain number of parameters, that says we are business friendly, we will get out of people's way, we will help, not hurt. You call me. You call me. You call me. In time, not the politicians, not the government, but the government of that state standing guard. That's it. Standing guard. We'll assemble some of the greatest minds and entrepreneurs, and we will bring people from all over the world to see how business, entertainment, truth, history, you name it. You name it. They'll come from all over the world to see how it is done. And I guarantee you in the end, they'll all say, I want to live there. Call me.